Hey, this is Darren from Property Prosperity. Today I thought I had a bit of a chat to. I've had some clients in the past that have come to me trying to help them out after their builder, whether they think they're going to go bankrupt or their builder has actually gone bankrupt. And they've come to me trying to work out how they can try and resolve the situation, how to try and get themselves out of this trouble, I suppose. So I thought I'd have a quick chat about, firstly, how do we even know to sort of plan for if our builder might be going to go bankrupt, or how do we even tell if our builder is going to go bankrupt? And then secondly, what do we do if they do go bankrupt, and then how do we try and fix that, I suppose? So firstly, how do we try and tell if our builder is going to go bankrupt? It's pretty hard, to be honest. So when you're in the industry, you have a bit of a feel for what's happening. You know who's not paying their tradies, who's losing staff and losing salespeople, and who's desperate to try and get people to pay money up front for things. That's probably a sign as far as a customer would go. If they're trying to get you to pay money up front for things, generally the world of building, the way it works legally wise, you shouldn't actually pay for anything until you've got it. So basically you can put a deposit down up front, which pays for getting the plans and the council approvals and the engineering, all that sort of stuff done. But it shouldn't be for actually any of the building of the house. So you should only be paying for the house as it's being built. So as the slab goes down, you pay for that. As the frame goes up, you pay for that. So just pay for it after the fact. That's why in theory, if your builder does go broke, it shouldn't be a big deal because you shouldn't have paid them any money up front. So that means that in theory, you've only paid them for what they've done, and then you should be able to get another builder to come and finish off wherever they got up to, and you shouldn't be out of pocket. But why that's a theory is because what happens quite often is if you get a builder to come in and try and finish off another builder's job, they firstly might be quite wary, and then secondly they might be inclined to charge you more money because they're taking over someone's work that they then have to try and either fix or deal with some of the consequences. Quite often the build might have dragged out for quite a long time because the builder struggled to pay their bills, and so before you know it, it's taken a year and a half to build, and all that weather damage and all the other damage that may happen along the way might cause some problems to the work that's been done so far. And likewise, the builder that's taken over is taking over the warranty of that build, or sometimes trying to take over that warranty of that build, and that can create complications down the track for that builder. So they're inclined not to want to take over on the work, and so they're inclined to charge you more money for that. So that's why it might end up costing you more. In theory, you should only be paying for what happens, and so if the builder goes broke, it shouldn't make any difference. But if they do, sometimes it does cost you more to finish off the house. So that's why they have something called professional indemnity insurance, and what that does is cover if the builder goes broke, or if they die, or they skip town, they disappear. And so in theory that should come in and cover your cost. There is a limit, it's different in each state on how much they're going to cover for, but you actually find it's not that large amount. It's not for the whole value of the build, because in theory you're only paying for the house as it's being built. And so if the builder does disappear, you should only need a little bit of extra cash on top to try and cover the extra cost of finding another builder. So saying that, it is a massive hassle. And the danger you get too is you don't want to go off and your builder's gone broke, and generally you'll find the build would have dragged on for years because your builder's created a lot of hassle because they're struggling to pay their bills and you're starting to limp along and trying to get things happening. So quite often you find if you find that it's taking a long time to build the house, then it's possibly that the builder's really struggling to try and pay their bills, because at the end of the day the builder only gets paid when they do work. So why wouldn't they build their house really quick? At the end of the day, the quicker they build it, the quicker they get paid. So if they're delaying things, that's probably saying they don't have the money up front to get the works done. So it's probably not really a good sign if your builder's taking quite long to build the house. So hopefully that's made sense. Yeah, so like I'm saying, it is quite hard. You sort of try and, if someone's within the industry, you can get a bit of a gut feel, maybe talk to if you know some tradies that are in the area, in the industry, you can sort of say, hey, what's your feeling? And maybe have a chat to some of the tradies if you see them out on site, saying, hey, how's this builder? How many jobs you've done with them? Try and look at a bit of a track record. How consistent is their construction? So, if they build roughly 50 houses a year, or roughly 100 houses a year, or roughly 150 houses a year, and they do it consistently, then that shows they've got a system set up and a process for dealing with that many houses. If they start to do one year they do 50, and the next year they do 150, and the next year they do 300, then you're worried, do they have the systems and processes in place to be able to deal with such an expansion in their business? So in theory it seems like a good idea that they're growing really quickly, so it shows obviously what they're doing is pretty good. But likewise, they may have to run their business in a different way for 300 houses a year compared to 50 houses a year. So Likewise, if they built 300 houses last year and this year they're building 50 houses, again, that's not a good sign either. So maybe just ask your builder some questions about how many houses they built last year, but then also the year before or the year before that, just try and get a rough view, and ask them what their average number of houses is, what they prefer to build, So that's how you can try and guess whether they're going to go bankrupt. The second thing is, what happens if they do go bankrupt? Like I said, you really just have to get another builder to come and try and finish off the work. You really want to try and segregate between the old builder and the new builder, be really clear what the new builder is going to do and whether they have to fix any stuff from the old builder, and also have a think about is there any warranty issues or any problems down the track that's going to happen because you've gone from an old builder to a new builder. So really, I suppose, the key is just to try and stay away from a builder you think is going to go broke. How do you do that? It's quite difficult, to be honest. I suppose try and disengage someone you think you can trust from an independent viewpoint that can try and hold your hand through the process, and try and point out builders which are more reliable and less reliable, I suppose. So hopefully what I've said has made sense, and hopefully you might find it useful if you are looking around for a builder or you're looking at engaging a builder. So if it made sense, then click on the like button. If it hasn't, then click on the like button anyway, and I'll just try harder next time. If you have found it useful, and if you click on the share button, you can send it through to your friends. And if you've got any questions or you would like me to talk about something else in the future, click on the comment box and put some info in there, and I'm happy to try and answer any of your questions you may have. So thanks for that, and I look forward to talking again soon. Thanks.